Warning, this podcast contains themes of extreme violence and murder. Subject matter may be offensive to some listeners. Discretion advised.
Welcome to another episode of Evil Transgression, your homicide headquarters here in podcasting. I'm Josh, and with me as always, Dustin and Rex.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
2 episodes in a row, Dustin.
That's what I do, man.
Ooh, you're getting a gold star.
So good.
I felt like I needed to be here more because this podcast is shit without me.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I noticed
That's what everybody's saying.
That's what everybody says.
Everybody's like, oh, what are we going to do without Dustin?
Hey, we went a week without somebody commenting saying that they need to kick me off, I think.
It's because you kept blocking them.
Yeah, that's because you don't look at the...
If I get one more message, you're going to go to play it and it's going to say, currently unavailable.
Ooh, blocking them.
Wow.
Don't talk about me.
Huh.
Then we'll have 3 people
Someone's
listening.
sensitive.
I've been here since the start.
That doesn't count. Dustin, if you miss 15 episodes, that doesn't count.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
When's your next vacation? I know you already got it planned, bro.
It's October 29th.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Where are you going now? Spookyville?
No, I'll be in.
I'm going to someplace Halloween town.
Ooh.
No, I'm actually going to Disney during the Christmas or Halloween Christmas, like where it switches over.
Uh-huh.
That's October, bro.
So-
That's Christmas is in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it goes like one day it'll be Halloween, and then the very next day it'll be Christmas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Will they just completely skip Thanksgiving at Disney?
I mean, I don't think they have
I
enough
guess so.
decorations for Thanksgiving, but
Yeah, well, that's stupid. That is stupid.
Man, I still have 2 weeks of vacation to burn, a week of sick time, 3 floating holidays.
you should probably do that.
Yeah, I need to. You know, they used to, you could cash them in at the end of the year, and they don't do that
that's
anymore.
nice.
Yeah,
I
but
got
they stopped doing it.
360 hours of vacation.
Wow.
And 360 hours of sick.
Can you cash them in?
No. We just hold on to them. And that's the cap.
Until you retire.
I just go to work and I don't gain anything from it.
Man, start taking some time off then.
Well, if my business that I discussed on our Patreon episode takes off, I won't have to worry about
That's true.
it. So
Yeah.
there's that.
There's that.
Yes. Huh. Uh-huh.
Tell me a story.
Oh, what?
Why you've been missing so much episodes.
I've been busy, man. Just like,
You said that last episode.
staying
Yeah,
with,
he did.
Different things in life come up and you just, you got to see what's more important. Is my day job more important than the podcast? Sometimes it is.
No, it's not. Because you cannot blame your day job on a weekend job.
I thought you missed the one episode because of your breast reduction.
No, I did miss one to go to Grey Wolf Lodge.
Yeah.
Missed one to go to Top Golf.
Yeah, Top Golf. Oh, I gotta go to
that's
Top
right.
Golf because
Yeah.
I'm a professional now, guys. I went to Top Golf.
Got my
This
Mickey
dude
Mouse
didn't even
clubs.
have clubs.
I do have clubs.
He bought his clubs the day before at a yard sale, and they're lefties.
You just made,
He's hitting it with the back of the
you
club.
just made that up.
Oh,
Top
man.
Golf has their own club.
They're all rusty. Like
Right.
I get great backspin on this one. It's all rusted up.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I've had a few.
He's got legitimate wood. Like that's my wood driver. Nobody's used those wood drivers
Since the 70s.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But I think I did the thing on it. I've only missed like 4 episodes
No,
out of 120 something.
Huh.
I find that hard to believe.
And then Rex had to come back with, well, I've been here for 127 of 127. And I was like, no, you haven't.
Yeah,
No, he wasn't there for week 1.
He mixed it.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. He wasn't on it.
I was in the background.
Yeah.
I was still there.
We did that in the basement. Your
Yeah.
basement.
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah.
That's why Rex had to fix it.
It took us, would it take us 3 days to do one episode?
Yeah. Because we'd start and we'd be like, we have no idea what we're doing. I don't even know how to work this program.
That was great.
We gave it to Rex and he's like, what am I supposed to do with this? So,
Yeah.
another little change of venue here on our evil facts section.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do some evil and stupid stories.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about these criminals and what they did. And it's going to be pretty dumb
Okay.
and hilarious at the same time.
Can't wait.
33-year-old Samuel Brown was busted after he tried to rob the same bank 2 days in a row.
Nice.
The man took off with a large amount of cash after he slipped a stick-up note to the teller. But the score wasn't enough for Brown, who came back to the bank the next morning and tried to rob it again. Police arrived and arrested him without incident.
Wow.
Nothing like returning to the scene of the crime
Yeah.
to do it again.
Genius.
What an idiot.
An Alabama woman named, and I kid you not, Iconic Face,
What? Huh.
was found guilty of 2 counts of armed robbery after holding up a Mississippi bank, a crime she allegedly committed to fund her plastic surgery.
Ah.
I get on board with that.
How else do you get the name Iconic Face? Unless you're going to rob banks to pay for your facelifts.
Yes.
Justin Savoy, who was a 24-year-old young man, pleaded guilty to weapons charges after police in the town of Golden Meadow, Louisiana, who were arresting him on a separate matter, discovered he had stashed a loaded .25 caliber Titan pistol in his buttocks. Yeah.
Check his cheeks.
Justin, you're under arrest. Okay. Why are you walking that way?
Do you have a gun in your ass?
You got a 25 in your prison pocket, son? That is, man. Who wants to be the guy that has to pick that up?
Oh, yeah.
All stinky. And
Probably had some corn on it.
Have you seen the video of that girl that gets arrested? I don't know where she's at, but they put her in the back of the cop car and she's handcuffed. She slips her cuffs and grabs that AR.
No.
And the cop, like, there's like 2 cops standing behind the car and then another dude that owns the house. And they're all sitting there in a circle, like, talking. This bitch grabs the gun and, like, brings it up like this and shoots and hits the dude from inside. She shoots from inside the car and hits the dude that's just like the dude's house it was.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll have to send y'all the video.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
He's like, they're sitting there and he's like, I've been hit.
That's not nothing to laugh about.
It's not.
No.
It is funny.
But this chick, dude, whew, the hot ass mess.
Sounds like it.
Michael Harrell, 54, entered a U.S. bank branch in Cleveland and passed the not-so-discreet note to the teller. And the FBI said when the teller took the note and looked at it, and looked at the other side, she saw his name and his address. Because he had used paper from the BMV that he had used earlier in the day to write the note on.
Wow.
Well, that was an open and closed case.
So we're still doing that? We're still passing notes?
Yeah, he's like, give me all your money, pass the note. And she turned it over like, okay, Michael. He's like, oh my God. How do you know?
Idiot.
This one is a little bit longer, but it's a good one. Clint Butler, a 36-year-old British man, had eluded police for months after escaping from jail. But When he ventured out to buy a copy of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, the jig was up. The fugitive, who had served 14 years of a 17-year sentence for robbery and weapons possession, was caught after officers observed him and a friend suspiciously change directions after spotting police. When an officer asked Butler and his companion why they were in town during the pandemic lockdown, his friend replied, "I've come to get the new Call of Duty because I can't sit around in lockdown." The fugitive admitted he was carrying marijuana and allegedly gave police a fake name, according to officials. When the officers said they'd be running the dim-witted duo's information, Butler confused the violent video game for real life and attacked the cops, throwing kicks and punches.
Wow.
He was subdued. Yeah. So I escaped prison, on a 17-year sentence after I've served 14 of the 17 years.
Makes a lot of sense.
But I got to get out to get this Call of Duty.
I would have been like, "Hey, dude, we go grab the Call of Duty. I'm going to hang out here.
Yeah.
I'll hold it down."
Yeah. I'm just going to stay here to not draw any suspicion. But instead, they go walking and like, "There's a cop car. Turn around quick." They won't think nothing of it. That didn't work.
Nope.
So that is your evil and dumb stories for today.
Nice.
And we're going to go back to Texas today on the episode.
Yeehaw.
Because I felt like doing it, man.
Wait a minute. Hey, what else?
And a woman.
Yeah, you got to be politically correct.
So, we had a good one last week with the Texas 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why not return?
We're just giving Texas love.
I wouldn't say last week, last episode.
Right.
His last episode.
Yeah, right.
Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Got me all confused. But we're gonna do a good one today. It should be a little more well known, but a lot of people don't know about this. And this story, to me, is special because the last time I was in Texas, it was actually quite a few years ago. This was all over the news because it was the anniversary of this event. So they were showing the old news clips and stuff with it. So it's kind of special to me.
Okay.
But we are going to discuss a gentleman by the name of Charles Whitman. So buckle up, Evil Mob, as we discuss Charles Joseph Whitman. Charles Joseph Whitman was born July 24th, 1941 in Lake Worth, Florida, to Mother Margaret and Father Charles Adolph Whitman. Not a middle name that you want.
No.
Adolf?
Nope.
Charles was the oldest of the three sons of the couple. Whitman's father owned a plumbing business and kept food on the table and a roof over the family's head. He also had a habit of being physically abusive to his wife Margaret and to Charles and his brothers. But besides having an abusive father, Charles Joseph Whitman had a busy childhood. He played Little League Baseball, took piano lessons, and was an Eagle Scout and also an altar boy at the Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church. The elder Charles taught his sons how to handle firearms at a young age. In July of 1959, Charles joined the United States Marine Corps after turning 18 years old. His father was very adamant that he did not want Charles to join the military and made several calls to try and get his son's acceptance into the Marine Corps rescinded. He was, however, unsuccessful in his attempt to keep his son from joining. Charles Whitman was stationed at the United States Marine Corps base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen Harold and Kumar escape Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Dustin, that didn't really happen. That was the movie. During his time there, he was part of the Naval Enlisted Science Education Program. The NESEP was a scholarship program that trained engineers to become officers. So far, Charles Whitman is doing extremely well for himself.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it.
I wonder if they really, like kind of like the movie. I wonder if they really fed him cock meat sandwiches.
You're going back to Harold and
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if that was real.
Probably. Whitman received his sharpshooter's badge while serving, proving to be an excellent marksman. He excelled in rapid firing from long distances at moving targets. On September 15, 1961, Charles entered the mechanical engineering program at the University of Texas on a scholarship from the Marine Corps. Now, if you remember as a child, Charles Whitman was an active boy and did a lot of things. Well, that's going to stay true as he got older. While enrolled at the University of Texas, Charles also practiced karate, enjoyed some scuba diving, enjoyed doing some gambling, which became a problem, and his favorite, he was an avid hunter. I'm gonna practice some karate. I don't know why.
That's great.
That cracks me up a little bit. Whitmore was such a hunting fanatic, he got in trouble at the University of Texas because he once brought a deer he had killed while hunting into his dorm room and skinned it in the shower.
Oh, wow.
That's freaking great.
Okay, so here's the first crazy thing that Charles Whitmore has done, though. You know, I know it might be possible that it was the only place he could think to dress a deer, but, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
In your dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine walking in on that?
Crazy.
It'd be like a horror movie. Like you walk in and there's this bloody carcass.
Oh, yeah.
Charles, what's that? Charles Whitmore was an intelligent young man, but he didn't apply himself that well at school and got subpar grades because of it. He also found himself in a relationship during this time with a young lady named Kathy. The two would marry while Whitmore was still attending college, and Charles straightened up a bit. But the USMC withdrew his scholarship in 1963, and Charles was sent into active duty at Camp Lejeune near Jacksonville, North Carolina. Whitmore was promoted to Lance Corporal upon returning, but he had a very difficult time adjusting back to the military after living the civilian life. His problems adjusting would result in being court-martialed for possession of a non-regulation firearm, being a sort of a personal loan shark, and of course, gambling.
Oh.
It's a loan shark.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like loaning money out, and he's like, you're going to have to pay this back or I'm going to come get you.
I'm going to break your kneecaps.
He was sentenced to 30 days confinement and 90 days of hard labor and was demoted from Lance Corporal to the rank of private. That's rough.
Yeah.
You figured 30 days confinement and 90 days of hard labor?
Uh-huh.
In today's day and age, not many people can survive 2 days of hard labor.
Fucking North Korea? What are we doing hard labor for?
So they laid it to him pretty good. In 1964, Whitmore was honorably discharged after he had his father use his connections, once again, to get his service time shortened. So finally, Dad's connections come in handy. He didn't want him to work the first time. But this time he's like, Daddy, can you call him again? Charles would move back to Austin, Texas to resume his schooling. By this time, his wife Kathy was a biology teacher. Whitmore changed his major from mechanical engineering to architectural engineering and actually held down a few different jobs, such as a bank teller, a traffic surveyor, and a bill collector for Standard Finance.
He seems like a smart dude.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. Just made, a couple dumb decisions.
Right. Yep.
Gambling's being a problem. Charles Whitmore also worked with the youth in the community as a scoutmaster. Remember, he was an Eagle Scout as a child, so... I mean, on the surface, Charles Whitmore doesn't seem like too bad a guy.
No.
He had a little bit of trouble in the military, but nothing too awful. The gun charge, but, non-regulation firearm.
Likes to gamble.
Who doesn't?
I know.
You love to gamble.
I do.
You're always going to the casino when we got to record. You're like, I can't make it. I go to the casino. In May of 1966, Charles's mother, Margaret, told him that she was going to file for divorce from his father.
Uh-oh.
At the time, Margaret and the elder Charles lived in Fort Worth, so Whitman went to Fort Worth to help one of his brothers and mom move to Austin. The third brother stayed behind in Fort Worth with their father. Charles's father did not do well with the separation and frequently called Charles to convince his mother to move back home with him. He's like, please tell your mama come home. Hey, Margaret, I love her. That's just how I picture it.
Yeah.
It might not have been like
I feel like he calls her Margie, though.
yeah, Marge, come back home to daddy. Like, nah, you're a dick. You beat us and you're abusive, bro.
You're a dick.
Yep.
This took quite the toll on Charles, though. He became more and more withdrawn and frustrated. Over the next few weeks, Charles Whitman's personality changed enough that his wife, Kathy, suggested he go to counseling. He did not, however, do that. On July 31st, 1966, Charles Whitman went off the edge. That day, he purchased a knife and a pair of binoculars at an Army surplus store. At a local 7-Eleven, he purchased himself a can of Spam.
Ooh, I love Spam.
Yeah.
That evening of July 31st, 1966, he penned a suicide note. In that note, he requested that an autopsy be done on his body after his death and that his remaining estate be donated to mental health research.
Huh.
Dude, I love how your voice changed.
Suddenly changed with
Yeah, you're like
an accent.
I gotta went and bought some Spam, and then you start talking normal, and then you go back to the I guess Yankee freaking version of a Texas person.
Yeah.
Now I'm back to Yankee, Texas. Okay. Well, I thought it was proper to only talk about the fact that he donated his estate to mental health research upon his death.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a serious note, so I didn't feel like making fun of it.
Right.
Jeez, Dustin. He then killed his mother by stabbing her and leaving an apology letter beside her body. Then he killed his wife also by stabbing her.
Wow.
For good measure, though, he also shot his mother. So he stabbed and shot his mother.
Wow.
But he left an apology letter.
Oh,
Like
so
kind
that
of
makes
like
it
an
all better.
IOU.
Maybe. The following morning, August 1st, 1966, Charles Whitman called his mother and wife's workplaces and told them they wouldn't be able to make their shifts. They definitely would not be able to make their shifts.
No.
He left the house and purchased an M1 carbine rifle, claiming he was going wild hog hunting, and a 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun that he shortened the barrel and the stock of.
Ooh.
These guns just added to the arsenal he already had of a Remington Model 700 bolt-action hunting rifle, a Remington M141 35 caliber pump-action rifle, a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver, a 9mm Luger pistol, and a Galeazzi Brescia pistol,
Wow.
which was a .25. He also purchased a hatchet, a machete, several rounds of ammunition, water, gasoline, a portable radio, a compass, a flashlight and batteries, a can of lighter fluid, and a box of matches.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Was it 25? Was that like the one that was between dudes' butt cheeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He packed all of these supplies in his Marine footlocker and loaded it onto a two-wheel dolly that he had rented earlier in the day with bad checks. He wrote all these bad checks like, I'm going to rent this dolly. He knew he wasn't going to pay for that.
No.
He dressed himself in a pair of khaki coveralls and drove to the University of Texas campus.
Oh, it's not going to be good.
When Charles Whitman arrived on campus, he made his way to the main building's tower. The fact that he was lugging a large footlocker on a dolly didn't raise any suspicion because he carried his old career ID card with him that allowed him to carry heavy equipment on campus. So, I mean, he really looks like he's just working on the campus.
Right.
He's got his coveralls on, he's lugging this. They're like, oh, hey, there's Charles. He's doing some maintenance or something. Inside the main building, Whitman found the elevator did not work. An employee named Vera Palmer activated it for him. Whitman thanked Palmer, stating, "Thank you, ma'am," before repeatedly saying, "You don't know how happy that makes me.
Oh, wow.
You don't know how happy that makes me." Whitman took the elevator to the 27th floor. Once there, he encountered 47-year-old receptionist Edna Townsley. He knocked her out with the butt of the rifle and hid her body behind the couch in the reception area. She would, she's going to be brought back up here shortly.
Okay.
2 visitors were actually out on the observation deck where Whitman was going. They come into the reception area, see Whitman with his guns, and check this out. Assume he's just going out on the observation deck to shoot pigeons.
What?
I mean, what in the...
Wow.
Like, is that a common thing in Texas at that time? Like,
I think it was the 60s.
still, bro, you're on the campus of the University of Texas, and these guys are like, oh, he's probably just going out there to shoot pigeons. He's just going to shoot some pigeons dead. Whitman smiles at the couple and says, "Hi, how are you doing?" as they go towards the elevator. Once they're gone, Whitman pushes a desk in front of the small stairway that leads to the observation deck to block the stairwell off. Charles Whitman finally gets to his destination and strategically places his weapons around himself. He's got them spread out in different areas of this observation deck.
Wow.
Another unfortunate circumstance happens when a family shows up to take a look from the observation deck. Michael Gabor, his wife Mary Gabor, and their sons Mike and Mark were in Austin to visit Michael's sister Marguerite and her husband William Lampert. At around 11:45, they come upon the desk blocking the stairway to the observation deck. And I was like, that's odd.
Yeah.
We're here to see, we're going to go check this out. So as Mike and Mark, the 2 sons, squeeze past the desk, Whitman approaches and fires his shotgun.
Ooh.
Mike was struck in the shoulder and Mark was shot in the head.
Wow.
Jesus.
Whitman then fired down the steps towards the other family members where Marguerite and Mary were hit. Michael and William took off to get help. They're like, let's get out of here. We gotta get some help. Whitman then goes over to Edna Townsley, remember the receptionist, who's behind the couch, and he shoots her in the head.
Oh.
She's the receptionist, like I said, behind the couch.
Right.
Just for good measure. I mean, he's already shot some people, so. Also, keep in mind, she's going to survive until she gets to the hospital. So she's laying there beat up and shot, but she's still alive. Charles Whitman then goes out onto the observation deck. At 11:48 a.m., Charles Whitman fires the first shots from the tower at random people passing by from the tower's outer observation deck after barricading the door behind him. So just 3 minutes after encountering the Gabor and Lamport family on the stairs, he's outside firing his first shots. So there's no time for any help to arrive to stop this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By the time somebody knows something's going on, he's already out on the observation deck picking people off.
Yeah.
And this is the absolute worst case scenario, is you have a trained marksman with a high-powered rifle on high ground and people all around. There's people walking to lunch. Yeah. There's people, going to classes, and people just going to their cars, and this is a bad situation.
Yeah.
By the time police arrived on scene, those who hadn't been injured or killed were hiding behind whatever they could just to keep from getting shot. They're just basically hunkered down behind stuff because if they get up to run, you have a trained marksman who excels in shooting moving targets that will pick them off. Officers Billy Speed and Jerry Culp arrived on scene and took cover behind a statue facing the tower. Officer Speed was shot in the abdomen through a 6-inch gap, killing him.
Damn.
Wow.
To put this into perspective, Charles Whitman fired that shot from an observation deck that is over 230 feet above the ground through a 6-inch gap. That's a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
More officers arrived on scene from the Austin Police Department and the University Police Department. Several officers started returning fire at Whitman, but none were successful in hitting him from such a distance. Keep in mind, they probably got revolver.
Right, yeah.
Right.
I mean, This is 66, so it's not like they can pull out their rocket launcher and take him off.
Right.
But, I mean, get this. Even civilians began bringing out guns to fire at Whitman.
Oh, wow.
Hey, it's Texas, after all.
True.
Everyone has a gun.
Very true.
So after a while of this maniac firing from the tower, a small group made up of police officers Jerry Day, Houston McCoy, and Ramiro Martinez, Department of Public Safety Officer William Cowan, and a civilian named Alan Crum, who, believe it or not, was a student that offered to help, and one of the officers took him to his house to get his rifle. So this group of men manages to sneak up and into the building. When they reach the 27th floor, they carry Mary and Mike Gabor to safety and approach the door to the observation deck. Now remember, Whitman has barricaded the door, so they have to break through it. Once through it, Officer Martinez sneaks around the corner and empties his .38 caliber revolver at him.
Nice.
And misses.
What?
Shut up.
Talk about an oh shit moment, right? He's got a .38, he rounds the corner, he's like, and misses every shot.
That's terrible.
Luckily, Whitman was caught off guard, and before he could return fire, Officer Houston McCoy, awesome name for a Texas police officer, by the way, shoots him twice with a shotgun, then run towards Whitman, who had now fallen down, and shoots him again at point-blank range, finishing Charles Whitman off.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
At 1:24 p.m., Charles Whitman is declared dead at just 25 years of age.
Wow.
Whitman left 16 dead and 31 injured in the shooting spree.
Damn.
At Charles Whitman's autopsy, it is discovered that he had an aggressive brain tumor that may have been responsible for his inability to control his emotions. Despite what evil actions Charles Whitman had done, his coffin was draped with an American flag at his funeral at the Hillcrest Memorial Park in West Palm Beach, Florida. He is buried beside his mother and younger brother, John.
His mother that he killed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
The observation deck where Charles Whitman had carried out one of the deadliest mass shootings at the time was closed to the public in 1976. It remained closed until 1999 on the University of Texas's 115th year anniversary.
So it's open now?
It is open now. So just, 16 fatalities.
Yeah.
You have 43-year-old Margaret Whitman, that's his mother. 23-year-old Kathy Whitman, that's his wife. 47-year-old receptionist Edna Townsley. 45-year-old Marguerite Lamport, who was on the stairwell. Mark Gabor, 18, who was on the stairwell as well. And then Thomas Frederick Ekman, who was 19. This was the guy that was shot. These are the people now that are shot from the observation tower. 33-year-old Robert Hamilton Boyer. 23-year-old David Hubert Gundy. 17-year-old Karen Griffin. Thomas Aquinas Ashton, 22. 24-year-old Thomas Ray Carr. 18-year-old Paul Bolton Santig. 18-year-old Claudia Rutt. 39-year-old Harry Walchuk. 22-year-old Officer Billy Speed. That was the guy that was shot through the statue. He was 22 years old.
Damn.
29-year-old Roy Dale Schmidt. So
they're all young.
Yeah, I mean, but you had a lot of them were young, but you had a 39, a 47-year-old. But yeah, you're right. 22, 18. You had a 17-year-old.
Yep.
But again, these are just people living their best lives, not knowing anything's going on, and all of a sudden they're getting picked off. So there is an excerpt that they released from his letter that he wrote the night before, and it kind of gives you a little bit of perspective of what he was going through mentally at the time. And it goes, quote, "I do not quite understand what it is that compels me to type this letter. Perhaps it is to leave some vague reason for the actions I have recently performed. I do not really understand myself these days. I am supposed to be an average, reasonable, and intelligent young man. However, lately, I cannot recall when it started. I have been a victim of many unusual and irrational thoughts. So was it the brain tumor that
Possibly.
did this guy in?
Could have been.
And he lived a fairly normal life.
Yeah,
Right.
Until the very end.
And then his mom and dad split up and the stress of all that. And then they say that his financial situation was changing because of the gambling and everything in his life. And he just loses his stuff.
Yeah.
But just imagine, like, yeah, we're going to go take a look off the observation deck. And a guy rounds a corner with a friggin' sawed off.
Yeah.
Mows down 2 young boys and then fires down the stairwell at the rest of you.
Crazy.
Yeah, Edna Townsley, though, man, the receptionist, poor lady, she gets knocked out
I know.
with the butt of a rifle stuffed behind a couch.
Yeah.
She probably can survive at that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, she would, I believe it cracked her skull, but still she was like, she had a chance.
Yeah.
Until he comes back down the steps and shoots her. But then she freaking lives until they take her to the hospital and she dies later.
Oh, that's crazy.
Terrible.
So she was like suffering. The rest of these people, man, were just getting picked off.
Yeah.
If you're a morbid person like myself, you can see actual footage of this on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, like the actual, and dude, the news had no F's to give during this time because they legitimately show them like carrying bodies off and stuff like that.
Oh,
like
wow.
people running up to like drag people that have been shot like out of the way. And,
Damn.
Yeah, so I mean the news footage is crazy. That's what intrigued me about the story when I was in Texas and seen it because I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, this is the anniversary of Charles Whitman's the sniper tower event. And I'm like, what is this? And I ended up like sitting there in the living room watching all this stuff unfold. I'm like, man, how did I never hear about this? But they were showing the news footage then, and I was like, that's crazy they're showing this stuff. Like nowadays they'll like blur it out.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's too sensitive.
They're like, because due to sensitive issues, they'll stop the video like right before some stuff goes down.
Yep.
This one, they're like dragging dead bodies off and stuff.
Wow.
They were using like armored trucks to go up in front of the tower so that they could get victims into the back of it to pull them off to get them medical care. They had a hearse from a local funeral home that was driving up, and they were just throwing victims in there to get them to the hospital to get them medical treatment. It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
But that is your story of Charles Whitman, the Texas Tower sniper.
Crazy stuff.
Good story.
Yep.
What do you got for me?
All right. If you haven't done so, go to our Facebook page, give us a like. Any comments, questions, or ideas, you can email us at eviltransgression@gmail.com.
Go to our Facebook page. Check it out. Leave some comments. Comments.
Yeah, comments.
So go to Threadless. Buy some merch.
Some merchandise.
Donate to our Patreon.
Patreon.
Is that French?
Yeah, it is now.
Is it French, Rex? You're like 1/1,000,000th French.
French,
so.
true. Honestly, I don't know about that one. My French is a little rusty these days, so.
You got a rusty Frenchman?
Yes.
That sounds like something you would find on Urban Dictionary.
It does. It sounds like a sexual position. I'm gonna give you the rusty Frenchman.
Oh man.
We should invent it.
We should.
We'll have to come up with what it is and put it on Urban Dictionary. Then everybody can go look at what it is and be like, ew! I gave her the old rusty Frenchman. Hey, man. And a woman.
That's right.
That's right.
Texas.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Maybe next week we'll go somewhere else.
Maybe.
Or next episode. Next week. Probably not.
What are you
just going to
got?
stay in
You got
Texas from
anything?
now on. I've got a lot of things.
All right. Well,
Nothing that pertains to this show.
Okay.
So until next time.
See ya.
see ya.
Peace.